The UK Parliament voted in 2014 to recognize the state of Palestine. What are they waiting for? Recognize the state of Palestine!
What flag is that? Stop. What is it? Genocide in Nigeria.
You know what the funniest story was after the war ended? Some Israeli woman came on the TV and she said, "My dog is distressed."
Johnson, you come home. We charge you with crime! Israel out of Palestine! Occupation is a crime! Israel out of Palestine! Occupation is a crime!
Supports the boycott, divestment and sanction movement. We've got the head of the International Department and Unite the Union, Simon Dubbin's here to speak to you. Simon!
Colleagues, I'm here to tell you that Unite the Union and its 1.3 million members, along with all of the other unions affiliated to Palestine Solidarity Campaign, stand in solidarity with the Palestinian struggle. Our movement has a long history of standing shoulder to shoulder with those fighting for human rights, and we've no doubt where we stand now. Like many of you, I'm sick and tired of the attempts to portray this as some sort of conflict between two equal parties. We all know the truth, and let us be in no doubt where the fault lies. Yes. It is Israel that has occupied Palestinian lands for 54 years. It is Israel that has moved nearly 700,000 illegal settlers into the West Bank. It is Israel that has been ethnically cleansing Palestinians from their homes. And it is Israel that has inhumanely blockaded Gaza for the last 14 years. It is an absolute outrage that the international community continues to stand idly by and do nothing. Why is it that sanctions can be immediately imposed on Belarus or China in a matter of days and weeks, and yet Israel violates international law for decades?
Palestinians and for Jewish Voice for Labour. A consultant physician sent me one of the most disturbing photos I have ever seen of a surgeon holding aloft the shredded body of a child. He explained that Israeli shells contain hundreds of darts that spin inside the body. What I cannot get my head round is the mentality of those who design, produce, sell, purchase and launch these weapons of hell. And what I cannot get my head round is the mentality of those who defend their use, or those who turn a blind eye, including here in the UK, the leadership of the Jewish establishment. Israel boasts of precision bombing. Yes, indeed. They hit 6 hospitals and 27 COVID clinics and a UK-funded trial trauma centre. Israel's terrorism is highly targeted. The Independent reported that British components of the F-33 fighter plane were exported to Israel during the attack. I think we need to have conversations with those workers and with their unions. Elbit weapons factories here in the UK are being occupied. Magnificent! We must support those comrades in the courts. Immediately after the ceasefire ended, the world's media moved on. The cloak of silence was redrawn over the brutal day-to-day violence of the occupation. Last week, the Israeli army fired live rounds, rubber-coated steel bullets, stun grenades and tear gas at demonstrators in 10 Palestinian neighbourhoods, seriously wounding 100.
Friends, activists, Londoners, brothers and sisters who travelled from all over the UK, thank you. Thank you for coming back. Thank you for lending your support again. This is important. It is so important. Why? Because, my friends, we are gaining the momentum. We are gaining gaining the momentum. We are winning the debate. We are getting through to people even if their politicians remain unmoved. And let me remind you, my friends, it was not politicians who led the struggle against apartheid South Africa. It was you. It was the ordinary people of the world. It was the youth of the world. It was London. It was London that led the anti-apartheid movement. We must keep working. We must double down. This is a moment to go all the way, to deal with the virus, to deal with the virus, to treat the virus, to uproot the virus of occupation, of colonization, of apartheid, of besiegement, of discrimination, of racism. We must not rest. We must not rest this time. In the 80s, it was ordinary people like you who forced the crimes of apartheid South Africa onto the agenda of the parliamentarians and the government. We must tell this government and this parliament that while we have heard a lot of talk, it is time for action! 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 It is deeply disappointing that of all countries in the world, the United Kingdom is not taking its responsibilities seriously. The UK has a responsibility to international law. The UK has a responsibility to justice. The UK has a responsibility to Palestine. It is time to get serious. What we want is action. Serious action. Yes, we demand, as you demanded in your public petition from the parliament, sanctions. What we demand is sanctions. Ban all illegal settlement products. Impose arms embargo immediately. Deliver a very strong message, unmistakable message that you can no longer have an illegal occupation, an illegal oppression. There is a cost. Extract the cost. This is a UK duty in front of international law and the British law. And my friends, we must end Israel's exceptionalism. We must hold Israel accountable. We must hold Israel accountable. Israel cannot continue its occupation in the occupied territories. Israel cannot continue evicting, ethnically cleansing people from their homes in Sheikh Jarrah, in Silwan, in all areas of the West Bank as we speak, by the way. Even yesterday, there was in Masafir Yatta, south of Hebron, Israeli army bulldozers bulldozing the only road that connects 7 villages. They cut the water from these communities. This must stop. It cannot continue. The discrimination against our refugees exiled outside. We have the right to return to the homeland, to our properties. Our right of return is non-negotiable. Gaza, Israel has to end its besiegement and blockade of Gaza. For 15 years, Gaza has been besieged from the air, from the sea, from the land, and bombed. Children who are less than 15 years old now have seen 4 wars. Enough! And also to our brothers and sisters inside 1940 areas, the Palestinians in Yafa, in Haifa, in Akka, in Lod, in Nakal, held the discrimination against them. They deserve full equity and equality. We want justice from the river to the sea. We want justice from the river to the sea. End Israel's occupation that began in 1967. Implement and uphold the right of return to Palestinian refugees and equality to our brothers and sisters inside the Green Line. And here I will go in by saying this. The UK Parliament voted in 2014 to recognize the state of Palestine. What are they waiting for? Recognize the state of Palestine! Recognize the state of Palestine! Not doing so is not only immoral, it is undemocratic! Undemocratic! Say it with me. We want a free Palestine! We want a free Palestine! What do you want? What do you want? Free Palestine! When do you want it? Now! When do you want it? Thank you!
Thank you, Ambassador! What do we want? When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? Our next speaker is someone who has campaigned for international peace and justice for generations. She's the vice chair of the Campaign for Nuclear Disarmament, one of the organisations that's been behind Egyptian Revolutionary Council. She is also the chair of Egyptians for Democracy. She's been a lifetime advocate of democracy and respect for human rights in the Middle East. Make some noise, it's Dr. Maha Azam!
We are here today for the causes of justice all over the world. And at the heart of the struggle for justice for the oppressed is the Palestinian cause. That is why we are here. It is at the heart of the struggle for the people of Palestine against the nuclear-armed Israeli state. There's no equal sign between the resistance of Palestine and the military force of Israel.
City of London who financed this apartheid regime. Solidarity with the Palestinian people. Free, free Palestine. Solidarity.
His work makes me feel heard, alright? If I could sing, which I can't, I would sing free my people, long live Palestine. Make some noise for Loki! Thank you very much. We say widely and clearly to the 12.5 million Palestinians across the globe, we are your siblings. We say to those in Gaza that taught us the meaning of dignity. We say to those in Haifa that taught us the meaning of Samud. We say to those in Al-Quds that taught us the meaning of resilience. We say to the Palestinian resistance, we are your siblings. Let's be absolutely clear. Palestinian resistance is not only morally right, it is legally right. According to UN Resolution 3246, it specifically identifies the Palestinians as having the right to liberate themselves from foreign occupation through armed struggle. Those are words from the United Nations, not words from me. If we look at the governments in the world who decide to define and designate the Palestinian resistance as terrorism, you are talking about the UK, the US, the EU, the State of Israel, maybe Japan too. All in all, that adds up to governments that represent ostensibly around 900 million people. But what about if you look at the governments in the world who do not recognize Palestinian resistance as terrorism? You are talking about 1.4 billion people represented by the government of China, Iran, Russia, Lebanon, other countries, including Switzerland. When they talk about neutrality, what's more neutral than Switzerland? The government of Switzerland doesn't designate Palestinian resistance as terrorism, and neither do we. All occupied people, all people subject to colonial subjugation have the right to defend themselves, and we support the Palestinians in that cause. It is vital that we protect children in schools in this country. As we speak, hundreds across the country are being told that for supporting the Palestinian cause, they are racist. They are being expelled. They are being suspended for standing with the Palestinians. I say this to parents and to children alike. Know your rights. Get legal defense and collectivize. You are stronger in a collective. This is for Palestine, Al-Quds, the capital, Jerusalem. Unarmed people marching to the wall and they're shooting them. Suppression is a question. Resistance is the answer. Long live Palestine! Long live Palestine! This is for Palestine, Ramallah, West Bank, Gaza. This is for the child that is searching for an answer. Wish I could take your tears and replace them with laughter. Long live Palestine! Long live Palestine! If Ibrahim Abu Thuraya could resist without a wheelchair, 10-year challenge, tell Regev we are still here. And tell that killer Netanyahu he should feel fear. The old live through us and guarantee the children will care. Criminal, not invincible, and you know it. Sarmadoon, still sitting in their stoic. May not feel us with you when you listen to our poems, but you inspire humanity. Your resistance is heroic. This is for Palestine, Ramallah, West Bank, Gaza. This is for the child that is searching for an answer. Wish I could take your tears and replace them with laughter. Long live Palestine! Long live Palestine! This is for Palestine, Al-Quds, the capital, Jerusalem. Unarmed people marching to the wall and they're shooting them. Suppression is a question. Resistance is the answer. Long live Palestine! Long live Palestine! Long live Palestine! Long live Palestine! Join the NEU, join Unite. Tell them now to apply the motion they passed in 2010. We don't want any members of these unions making weapons that are sent to Israel to use on the people of Gaza and other places in Palestine. Say to the NEU, we want you to support the children in schools. It is the most important thing right now to focus on that. Thank you very much.
Until Israel recognizes that these are your homes and taking you out of them and putting settlers in your place,
would be a crime of ethnic cleansing, and we will not stand for it. We also remember our brothers and sisters in Palestine, in Gaza, in Ramallah, in Haifa, in Jaffa. They are one people. They are part of the 40 million Palestinians all around the world. They all demand freedom, justice and equality, and I for one want to be able to return to Palestine. What we want from our government here is, first of all, to cancel that absolutely atrocious letter from Boris Johnson to the Conservative Friends of Israel, Conservative Friends of Apartheid Israel, in which he said the UK stands with the International Criminal Court, except when it comes to Israel. Why make an exception of an apartheid, racist, settler colonialist state? Shame on you, Boris Johnson. You do not speak for us, the British people. We say, based on analysis by a number of human rights organizations, Israel is a settler colonialist, racist, apartheid state, and we must bring accountability to bear against it and against its war criminal leaders. I'm just looking out at this wonderful site. Flags from all around the world. A beautiful sign at the back which is the Nelson Mandela saying, our freedom is incomplete without the freedom of the Palestinians. That is the kind of sign we want. What we don't want on our marches are those who bring signs that bring disrespect to the rest of us. Those who try to compare Israel with other states that were there in the past. I say to them, shame on you for bringing these signs here. Let us all hold the Palestinian flag proud and raise our voice for the Palestinians all over Palestine. I'm going to end with a few messages. First of all, let me thank our co-organizers who put this particular demonstration on, who worked so hard, the various
So how do you think today went?
Went well, I think. Not as many people as the previous protests, but I think that might be because the last one was an actual march, whereas this one we're just outside down the street. But considering that this week is the G7 summit going on, I think it went well, especially to raise awareness to people and to let them know that this cause is still ongoing. It's not just because the ceasefire's happened already, but the Palestinian people's struggle hasn't ended yet. It's still ongoing, and we'll continue to stand and fight with them until they have been free.
And moving forward, what do you think will happen in the future after today?
After today, as some of the speakers said on the stage, we are definitely making a difference. One thing that the Israeli government and Israeli people can't control is the footage, the pictures coming out of Palestine, especially on social media and stuff, where everyone can see. So the narrative isn't just controlled by mass media. So going forward, more people are becoming aware of the situation. I think the Israeli government also postponed the hearing for some of the disposition of the homes. So we're hoping that they will become, they will answer to international law as they've been breaking it all this time, and the UK and the US government, as well as other European governments, haven't been doing to oppose that.
Oh, okay.
يعني انت اعمل هذا كله هيجي واحد يقول لك انت شوف بدك تفهم عشان يعملوا جهزوا التيك توك كاميرا يلا واللي انا عنده هون انا هون هو بتنتج؟ لا همشي معك هيك بس مش الان انا خلصت عملنا خذ لي